Hey, Michael, thank you for joining us today. If you could just state your name, where you're based, and what position you're running for.
Sure. My name is Mike Ullman. I am Fort Lauderdale based, and I'm currently running for re-election for the Fort Lauderdale based executive for TWU 579.
And Michael, can you talk about your current participation in the labor union? What events you've attended since the last election, and what have you done since the last election that would prepare you to become the next Fort Lauderdale based executive board member if elected?
Absolutely. Actually, this goes back actually even before we formed our union. I was actually an activist and an organizer with our local. Before we were formed, I was one of the main organizers here in Fort Lauderdale. We remember the good days and the bad days. Obviously, where management watch every move you did here in base. I still remember one supervisor, one manager who had followed me at the clipboard, everything I was doing. So I was part of the original. When we started up, we didn't give up. We remember the email gate that went out at that point. That was kind of the driving us and forming our union. Since then, I was elected as your first Fort Lauderdale-based executive here in Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale's home for me. The members here in Fort Lauderdale, they matter to me. Some things I've done here in base since. I've also sat in as a shop steward for those members who've been called in for meetings with management. I've had management. I've held them accountable. So when they cross the line, we've called them out. When they've done that, we've helped members with their investigations. I've also attended several TW specific volunteer events, specifically the Martin Luther King event back in 2023. That was an amazing experience back in Miami. Back in 2023, met all of TW International, from the TW 100 out of New York to the rail system in Miami, TW 557, I believe, was Southwest, and also Legion. So it's been great to meet a bunch of different members from across the whole network. And then recently, I've also attended my first FDAP conference that's funded by the FAA. It was in Baltimore. It's great to see all the other airlines across the industry on how we can assist those members who may be dealing with issues, whether it's drug or alcohol related.
Thank you. And as the next Fort Lauderdale based executive board member of our labor union, what do you plan to accomplish during your term that would benefit our 6,000 members?
The big thing obviously coming up is obviously going to be Section 6. We've done a lot in building our foundation here in Fort Lauderdale, holding management accountable, but now we move to the next phase, and that's moving towards our next contract. What do the Fort Lauderdale members want? What do the Fort Lauderdale members, what are their needs? We want the quality of life back. We want our productivity back. There's a lot of requests from Fort Lauderdale. Take all of those, and we're going to hand those over to the negotiating team once they're formed, and these are our priorities going forward.
Gotcha. And I assume that you are familiar with the roles and responsibilities that the Fort Lauderdale based executive board member role does come with.
Yes, the Fort Lauderdale-based executive, we are, as myself, I'm responsible for the day-to-day operations here in Fort Lauderdale, for obviously holding the company accountable to our CBA. We have members daily on the line who deal with contractual issues, whether it's E16, E18, et cetera, that they're going to reach out like, hey, their contract is not being held up. What do we do? And it's having those one-on-one conversations like, this is what we're going to do to hold the company accountable. So it's on our side. We have the contract, the company signed it, holding them accountable.
Gotcha. And while our members are claiming that they want more transparency and a leader they can trust, what will you do to ensure that those voices are heard?
First, I'll thank them for reaching out. Number one, we have to be united going forward. I will continue my base visibility as I currently am doing now, increase as we go into Section 6. We need to hear everyone's voices. What are your priorities? What do you want in your next contract going forward? So you'll expect to see more visibility, town halls, et cetera, from myself and your new executive board going forward. We want to hear what your thoughts are going forward.
Gotcha. And for those who are still deciding who they would like to choose as their next Fort Lauderdale based executive board member, what do you want to tell them?
First of all, thank you for taking the time and watching the video. Watching just the interview itself, that's a step forward. Like I said, we may not always agree, but at the end of the day, what is our long-term goal? Obviously, it's having an industry-leading contract. It's again holding management accountable when they do not want to adhere to the contract that they signed. We will hold them accountable. I know we repeat ourselves a lot, but at the end of the day, that's why we formed our union, was to form our first contract, and we will hold the company accountable to that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for giving us an insight into your campaign. For all those that are still trying to decide who they would like to vote for, please make sure you vote. Your votes are due in New York at Yes Elections by October 1st. 2025 at 9 a.m. in the morning to be counted. And Michael, thanks again for your time. Thanks for taking the time out to do this interview, and I look forward to seeing you out on the line.
Thanks, Stephen.
Always.